Well, I'm hoping this will work. This is Donna, and I'm trying something different. I just wished I could be, in one location with all of you, and we could have our Wednesday night meeting potluck or something like that. But we can't do that. So what I'm going to do is try to give you some information every now and then live, because I think action speaks louder than words. I've always felt that. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is something that is now being addressed by the presidential masters that I have spoken about since youth came out. In fact, before that, I felt it, and they're now adopting it, and they're going to be addressing that probably at our Las Vegas conference. And that is about the fact that I mentioned when I do my youth presentations, I start out with our philosophy. I talk about the fact that we are a very unique company. There's nothing like us in the world. That I've been associated with the company for 40 years, and it doesn't matter whether it's 1 year or 2 years. I felt this way when I first started this business because I I spoke from the history of the company, and at that time it was about 25 years old. And so I think it's really important that it's not how much you know when you present Shackley, it's how much you care. And Dr. Shackley used to always say, if you speak with $1 sign in your eye, you're half blind. If you speak with dollar signs in both eyes, you're totally blind. You don't get it because that's what most companies do, and that's why they don't make it. And they're not in business the 60 some years that Shackley's been. Number one, we have a history that began in 1894, and it is an unblemished history. It's a doctor that has walked the talk, a man who has um, had such an incredible respect for nature and the environment and the world long, long, long before anybody was even trying to become interested in that. And so I think it's really important, and it has been so with the facials uh, youth demos that I've been doing. And I want to emphasize again, in my silver bag, which is right here, I have everything I need, so that I have it set up with a, rolled up placemat, so to speak, and a cloth roll mat, and I lay it out and size it for 4 people. And there's a rolled up cloth like this sitting there, along with my bag that contains the product guide and the use bag in it. And and it, what I why I put it there, be so that they're going to do their demo from. I'm going to be demonstrating the product through the used bag, used brochure. But so you're not a cosmetologist, but you are an educator. And so if most people I have found did not want to put it on the back of their hands because they couldn't see the visible difference that they can see when they use it themselves. So I have the products out on a nice silver tray, and I've gone through all that in the past video. If you need to see it, you can. And they go through the whole process, and obviously they see and feel the difference. And the 3 or 4 women that are there going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe the difference." And but the whole time, the beginning before I start though, I tell them, and I sent you copies of all this, a picture of it. You don't need to have this book, but I have a picture that I sent you that's back to front, and on the back of the picture is some facts about the book, about Dr. Shackley. And you just hold that up and you just say, we have a history. It began in 1894. This isn't a company that just became popular. It was to become popular because something was popular. It became what it is with an unblemished record because it has a history. And you tell them, the birth of Dr. Shackley, almost dying, being raised outside the chemical environment that he had started to live in. And he survived and um, went on to be a chiropractor, and then got cancer because they didn't wear aprons with x-rays. And you fast forward and you go to the next stage of our unblemished history, and that we have oh, where is it? I don't have it in front of me. I just had, oh, there it is. We have the telomere study that was done, and Dr. Blackmore, the Nobel Peace Prizer, came to Shackley, and I, in fact, was part of that study. And that you tell the story about the telomeres. And so, all in all, it takes about 8 minutes, and then you say, and from this amazing study Shakti decided to take a product that we had had for 20 years. It was most amazing, Infusel, which infuses the cell with skin healing. Um, and skin aging, and spent 8 years trying to improve it, and 8 patents later, etc., and 8 more pending. We have this amazing product called Youth. Before we get started, then I tell them that I really want them to look at this sheet, and it's interest and or concerns that they may have personally for themselves or someone they love or care about, and to check it off, fill out the form, and give it to me, and we will have a personal appointment so we can discuss how I can best help them. And I have that Better Health website that you'll see on all my signature lines when I send an email to you. So if you don't have the Better Health in 31 Days site, please use mine or your leader's site so that you can educate these people, not sell them on Shaklee, but educate them on why Shaklee has an unblemished record. All right. So this whole thing with 4 people takes 20 minutes, maybe. So all in all, it's about a half an hour. But it's the meeting after the meeting that really counts, because the product sells itself, and between the results that everybody's getting. Now, I had done something on a previous video that I was trying to send you, doing a demo. I'm always going to give you a demo. And so this is a demo with oatmeal. And you can see here, it's like oatmeal. Really, no milk, nothing added to it, just plain old oatmeal. And the purpose of doing that is that you make it before a meeting, give it a time to really settle in, and then you add a product called Easy Jest. I don't have any bottles here. I have just emptied my Easy Jest bottle, so I didn't have the bottle. But for those in the Spanish group, that's what it is, Easy Jest. And it's a little capsule, and it looks like this. I just broke mine up and put it into what is now, about 10 minutes ago, the same product, and it's totally, oh gosh, I'm on my keyboard. Anyhow, it's just like so milky and so creamy. And the only thing I did was add the Easy Jest. Now, if I were doing a live presentation, what I would do is have somebody in the audience come up, as I did when I was working with our Crabtree Recreation Centers, and I was helping educate people on making better choices about the foods they eat. And so I would have somebody come up, and I would have this ball of oatmeal, and I would break our capsule, Easy Just capsule. And as I'm talking that whole 15, 20 minutes, she's stirring it or he's stirring it, and they're going, oh my God, I can't believe this. And what you're educating them on is the fact that enzymes help break down our food. And back in the day, before we had all the chemicals and artificial foods and such, those enzymes would help us digest the food, and we wouldn't have the digestive problems we have today: constipation, colon problems, intestinal problems, and bloating and overweight and so on. And because we don't have um, those enzymes often in our food now, that they're milled out because it's gone through so many chemical processes before it comes to our table, then you add the plus factor of us being older. And enzymes, we don't have as many enzymes as we had when we were younger. And so those two things together can really complicate our digestive tract. And so how we can help eliminate the issues related to our bowel and our colon and so on is to add something as simple as Easy Jest to our diet about 10 minutes before we eat. And so if you're going out for a heavy Mexican meal, take some Easy Jest, and it'll help break down that heavy food that you're taking into your body. I'll be doing test samples, if you like, more as we go along. But again, action speaks louder than words, and it's a really good test to do. Now, I don't know if you're doing this, and it doesn't have to be in this format, but if you want to grow your business, you have got to take responsibility of how you're running your month, and not end up with no more month and much more PB needed. So if you had 4 weeks in a month, you break it down. Say your goal is to be let's just say 2,000, and you figure out the first week you want to do 5,000 PV. You start out on a Sunday. By Sunday, you do a review of your company, your organization, and see what you need to do to either increase your personal volume by who you need to talk to, and include that into the second week. So if you ended up with, instead of 250 PV, you ended up with 200 PV. So then you got to add to the next week 300 PV. So you need to break that up between Sunday and Monday as to how many people you need to talk to earn that volume. And it goes to the end of the month. And if you keep track of it, you're going to find that it works. And I used to break it down to 50 PV a day keeps the blues away. Whatever it is, you need to do it. But one of the things that is coming across loud and clear is that we have many ways we can sell them on the business and tell them how much money they're going to make. But really, we need to ask a lot of questions. We need to mentor the people that are in front of us and find out what their real things are that are bothering them, and what they may come in with that you assume are often not what's really a problem that they have. So I really would like to see all of us end December with an amazing volume growth, not only for your own personal needs, but for being able to help so many people who need what we have and are willing to do what it takes to get what we have. And the only way you can do that is to really spend time with people. And through that interest sheet, you can do that. Through youth is an amazing tool for us because it's visible. They see visible results. With nutrition, you don't see visible results. But if they understand who we are, where we came from, the road we walked, the history we have with Dr. Shackley, there is no one out there that can touch us, and we can prove it all. And so I think it's really important that we do that. Now, there's one other thing that I do in all my product guides. I think I've done this before, so I can't remember that I really told you about that, is how do you feel today? I don't know if I gave that to you, so I'm going to pull one sheet out just in case I didn't tell you about that. But I put in all my product guides a welcome to the Shakti product guide, and you're welcome to have any of this. You can tweak it the way you want. And again, I always think pictures on a postcard that you send out that we talked about last time, or on a business card, are incredibly important. Visa print is so cheap, and the pictures are so easy to put on the um, card. But in all of my product guides, I have a from the desk of Donna, and enjoy the product guide for 2017, and it talks about how wonderful it is. And on the back, however, it is a to whom it may concern letter, which I'll be glad to send to you. And those in the Spanish group, put your heads together and you know translate it into Spanish. And so many people say, well, I'm using product blah blah, and I spend blah blah money on it, and I'm looking at them saying, you're wasting your money of expensive urine, but we can't say that, can we? So I have a to whom it may concern, and I said, well, what I would suggest you do is you write to this company and see if they have the data that you need to support spending that money on that product. And I personally can tell you that in my 40 years, I have never had a company write back to me. And or they say they depend on other people's research. Well, we know that's crazy. So what I want you to do is, really get sincere about what you're doing, and be able to walk the talk in a way um, that is unique to Shakti, and that you speak from your heart, you speak from a clear conscience, and you don't try to berate another company's products, but you ask them to take their responsibility. If they're going to be buying supplements and proteins and so on, that they find out about what they were using before, and see the Shakti difference. So I would really like to have you all call me individually. I'd like you to send me your power plan to see what you're really doing with your month of November and how you want to finish December. and empower yourself to greatness. And you can do it. If you break it down into increments, it's like, you sit down and you can't eat a whole watermelon in one sitting. You have to break it up and eat it little by little, don't you? And it's the same way with building the Shaklee business. Take your time, respect what's in front of you, which is this wonderful person who wants what we have and may be willing to do what it takes to get what we have. But it's their decision. And I think if you spend the quality time with these people, I'm doing very well with the youth presentations because it's taken it to the next level. And what I've had is one woman came in, she spent something like $400 or $500 on skincare product. And by the time I told her about the history of Shaklee and the 2,500 chemicals that were not in Shaklee products, she first said, well, I'll finish up these products, but I really need to get into nutrition, and I hope you can get with me on my interest sheet. And we talked, and we got her on a cleansing program. She's going to get on a real health nutrition program. But when she came back to do this, to get into the interest sheet and talk about her health, she says, and by the way, just give me the product. After experiencing it and after finding out what you told me about the history of this company and the integrity behind it, I don't want to use that other product ever on my face. And I said, well, maybe you can take it back and get a credit. She says, I don't even care. All I want to know is that I'm using something that's safe and healthy for me. So that's it for tonight, guys. Please let me know what you're thinking and where you are on your business growth. And if you're in a slump, that's okay. We've all been there. I certainly have. And but we need to pick ourselves up off the floor, dust ourselves off, and start all over again in a way that respects and honors who we are, and that is a company beyond anything out there in the world when it comes to a history like Shaklee and the science and research and all that good stuff. So anyhow, I hope this helps. Love you guys, and stay tuned with me.